Okay, he's Meg here. Welcome to my workshop. So, okay, the first part of the installing the AEM UEGO gauge controller into the Black Widow Galant VR4 will be to set the controller to mode P04. If you don't know, okay, if you didn't watch the last video, the reason we're doing that is because the Galant VR4 we're replacing the O2 sensor on the Galant VR4, the stock sensor, with the wideband O2 sensor, and the stock ECU does not work on a wideband signal. It needs a narrowband signal. So what this bad boy can do, the AEM UEGO, what this can do is you can set it to mode 0 P04 and it will emulate the narrowband signal. It's called a NERST signal. That's what the narrowband signal is called, and it will emulate it. It'll pretend it's like a narrowband, and it'll translate the wideband O2 sensor readings to a narrow O2 band reading. A voltage, so the ECU can work with it, so it doesn't freak out. Plus, a wideband is designed to work from 0 to 5 volts, so you're putting a lot extra. You're putting 5 times the voltage into your, if you're going rich, into your ECU. It may fry your ECU. So that's why it's very important, before you do anything, before you install anything, you do this step first, so you don't mess it up. And plus, we have to see if this gauge works. I think I did test it before. Alright, so the first thing to do is to get your gauge. Put it there first, and then take your harness, and we need to find, we need to strip all the wires, basically. This has a big old jacket on it, so I'm going to go strip the jacket off. I'm going to go use Mr. Knife to do it. Let's say we cut like an inch off of it for now. Hopefully we can do this without cutting the... cutting myself and the wires inside. I don't know if you bought a brand new one, if it would be like this. Maybe there would be wires coming out of it. It seems like all they did was just chop this out of the car, whatever car it was installed before. So he's Omega bought this used off of Craigslist, if you guys are wondering. That's why you never know what you're gonna get, right? Just trying to be very careful not to cut too much into there, because I don't want to cut the wire underneath. This is like a little protective jacket. Okay, looks like we're getting good. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we get some American colors there, red, white, and blue, and some black. So the red is your 12 volts, we're going to need that. And then the black is your ground, we're going to need that. We won't be needing these yet. If I remember correctly, the blue is the one that you hook up to a serial connector, and then you can connect this to a computer, and then you can use a computer to monitor your O2 sensor readings, like a data logger. I have that set up on the Eclipse. I don't think we'll need it for this. I'm not really going to do any tuning in the car, in-car tuning. The white one is the one that we need to connect to the ECU. This is the one that's going to send that narrowband signal, the NERST signal, to your stock ECU, to the Galant VR4's ECU. So, but to change the modes, you need to actually power the gauge on, and then see what mode you're putting it on, because like it actually tells you what mode it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna strip the red and the black wire. Mr. Strippers here. So just cut just a little bit, maybe. Okay. Some red wire. Okay, black wire. Okay, so for this step, you're gonna need a freaking flathead jeweler's screwdriver, because you're gonna need to get up in there. So according to this step here, the calibration position screw is right here, So if you look in there, it's hard to tell, but there's kind of like a flathead screwdriver screw in there that you can turn. So yeah, so you're gonna need this. We're gonna need it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to power up the gauge. So for this step, you need alligator clips or something, some way to get power to your gauge. So let me zoom out here. Okay. So here, what I'm using for power is this jump starter here. You can probably hook it up to your car battery too. It'll probably work also. So what I'm going to do is, so we don't mix it up, we're going to connect the red. Okay. Connect the red wire and then the black wire right here. Okay. Make sure this thing is off. And then you absolutely want to make sure that you don't connect this backwards, or else you will fry your gauge maybe. I don't know if it has a fuse or anything. So you're going to connect the black here. And just to be careful, I'm going to put a piece of tape around it, around the black wire. Alright, safety first, right? Safety first. Okay, yeah, so we just connected the black wire. Let's connect it this way. So I can put the tape around it, just in case. We don't want these wires to touch each other at all. Okay, so the black wire is connected, and now connect the positive. Okay. Okay, so the black wire is connected. Now we go connect the red wire to the red. Okay, there you go. So you got your 12 volts power. Now, this is Hades' a little science project, right? Okay, now we're going to connect it to the gauge. There's no way you can connect the gauge wrong, because it is keyed a certain way. If you do, then you're forcing it to do something it's not. Okay, so I got it connected to the gauge. Now all I have to do is give it power. So I have a little switch here that turns the power for my jump starter on. It should turn on. If it doesn't, it's broken. Okay, there we go. P00. Okay, did you see that? It flashed P00. I'm going to do that again. Okay, so I zoomed in a little more so you can see a little better. So I'm going to fire it up. It's connected. And it's going to flash U0, P00. So it's connected to P0. It's set to P00 mode right now. So if we connected that wire to our ECU, we might have fried it. I don't know what P00 is, but what we want is P04. So what we're going to do is turn the gauge around. Okay, turn the gauge around, and then we're going to go turn the little screw with the jeweler's screwdriver until it gets to P04. That's all I got. Okay, it's back there. And it's at 14.7. It's not even hooked up to anything. It's funny. Okay, so now we're going to set this to P04. I hope. It's not doing anything. Okay, there. See, you see, you just turned to P01, right? See now, so it's showing a different value. I think that's like a lambda value. Yeah, that's a lambda value or something. Okay, now we're set to P02. I'm going to turn it more. I'm turning it clockwise, by the way. Now we're in P03. And then P04. Okay, there we go. Alright, P04, it's reading a regular air fuel ratio. It's doing an air fuel ratio dealie. I guess if you're going to use the other one, you would use the lambda. If you use lambda for tuning, but I want air fuel ratio. I kind of know that better. 14.7 is stoichiometric. So that's why it says 14.7. That means it's like there's it's balanced. There's no extra oxygen. Okay, so what we're gonna do is turn it off, cut the power. Okay, I'm gonna power it back on. It's gonna boot up. U06 P04 14.7. Okay, there we go. So the gauge is set properly now, and we don't have to mess around with this anymore. So now we can disconnect all this stuff, and the gauge is ready to install. And so when we hook up that white wire to the ECU, it'll talk the same language. It's basically what it comes down to. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna go disconnect all this stuff, and so we're done with this step. All right, here's my go. Yeah, good job.